This is 999 Show doing another session of painting on this one. It needs more layers. I'm going to thin it down. I'm going to thin the paint down a little bit. I'm just going to kind of lay it in here. Kind of just going on in here. So I think this is the third layer on the sky so far. I'm kind of thinning the paints with, this is gel medium here and titanium white. A little bit of water. I hope all y'all are having a wonderful summer. It's almost 9 p.m. in the Pacific Coastal Mountains. You can hear the cows in the distance. Welcome, Yosh. Welcome. Welcome to the 999 Show. Sundown painting session. This is just the working on the background. I'm just going to be painting on this for a few minutes, and then it's going to get too dark to do this. Bodanders, welcome. Class 9 studying, welcome. Watt 1775, welcome. Daniel, hi. Working at this stage, I'm making the paints just a little bit more transparent. I'm adding gel medium and water to the mixture to gain some depth in the sky. A little bit of colors, sort of just a tad bit of reflex rose, ultramarine blue, lots of titanium white, plus some gel medium. And just a tad bit of water each time, just to thin this down. Can you have $1? I need $1. With only 400 watch hours, I can get the super chat function. I am roughly 400 watch hours away from getting the super chat function. Not that you care. But we're just gonna put this up here. You know, there's a powwow going on in my neighborhood. About a couple miles, well actually that was last weekend, but not right now, but last weekend there was a powwow going on. Not more than a mile away. Lots of drumming goes on in powwows. We're doing some drumming here too. Bought Anders. I've been doing painting since I started either in 2015 or 2016. I think the way it worked is that in 2015, it was just in the summertime. I painted a little bit and then I stopped until the next summer, and really it kind of started in 2016. So my first year of painting was I wasn't really doing much. I was actually working on a poetry manuscript that I was titling Metal, and I like the energy as it's unfolding here. Kind of getting an upward lift. So if I take it up like this and I move the paintbrush, my very early art was very different. It was very different, my early art. And yeah, so I started because I'm a poet writer, and I had this concept of a poetry manuscript where I wanted to do cross-out poetry, where you take an existing piece of newsprint or something, and then you cross out all the words you don't like. But I wanted to do it all heavily influenced by listening to heavy metal music, and then I was going to be using metallic paint in order to do the crossing out. So that was what the idea was, and so I bought paint in order to do the project. But what happened is I never actually ever did that project. I never did that project, and I ended up doing something totally radically different. And I ended up, and then here is what, almost 10 years later, and this is where I ended up. I ended up here. So what I'm doing here in these layers is I'm adding some of these. Oh, I don't have a name for this painting, man. I actually really don't title my paintings, but it's going to be. So if you look, I'm using all of that out there as my inspiration, but I'm making but what I found in doing this stuff, that it works best to have a big, huge sky. Big sky, because it's harder when you're doing like trees and landscape stuff, and when you're using these heavy body paints, that get a light to turn on here. When you're using these heavy-bodied paints, the foreground gets really muddy if your landscape is too high, and so so you want to try to make your horizon line someplace like at the 1/3 mark. And then this is roughly 1/3 of the painting size here. And so that's kind of, this is the land, and then this is the sky. But I have found that if you make your clouds just over your land, and you make them kind of in bluish tones, and and using like a lavenderish color, bluish tones, that it might look like faraway mountains. Yeah, so you might look like faraway mountains by doing this very thing. I need to put a light on this because there we go. Shine a little bit of a light on this. And now, of course, you can only do so many layers when you're doing it, because this paint's pretty wet and it's pretty cool out right now. And because you can, and then pretty soon, if you do too many layers with wet paint like this, it turns into mud, and you kind of lose any optical effects you have of putting multiple layers down. And so in this quadrant here, I got to let it dry for a while. And I didn't hook my hair dryer up, so which is something that I do often when I'm painting indoors, is that I will turn a hair dryer on and dry the surface up. You saw some kind of a trabucket. I don't know what that word means. Let's kind of go up here. All right. And at this point in time, we need to do something else, and I'm almost done for the night because the painting will only let you do so much at one sitting, and so you can't sit down on YouTube and live stream an entire painting because you're going to run out of because things get too muddy. So I'm going to come into the foreground, and I'm going to make this lighter, make it a little bit lighter color. And so I'm coming in here with some primary yellow. And I'm not going to use too much because I really hate wasting paint. And I can actually mix some of this blue in with it over here. Mixing it up and make a little bit of a greenish tone. Mix some of this white in here so it's sort of a creamy, pastel-y, greeny tone. Looks a little bit like a green mustard here. And so we're just going to put this in, kind of put it in here, because I'm still in the background phase. And tomorrow, I will start working on the foreground. I would have started a little bit earlier, but I wasn't home, so I couldn't start earlier. Doing a layer of lighter colors. That's what we're doing right now, while I let this other stuff dry. Maury, welcome. Charlie's Nuts. Oh, I don't have a spray can because then I'm not doing spray can art. That's a whole nother area of investment. I already have hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars invested in our acrylic paints, and then also with watercolors and other stuff like that. We're just not gonna. But maybe someday I'll do spray can art. I'm just gonna paint the bottom here. I want to use up some of this color here, you're painting the edges, and that kind of comes into. And so the people who do the spray can art, that's a whole different special breed. They have a different kind of eye, and they're doing that fast painting, and I don't necessarily have those same skills that they do. Now, it's not to say that I couldn't develop them. I could develop them, but one of the things I struggle with is actually drawing. I failed drawing every time I took it in art class, and so I find drawing to be incredibly boring. And I actually kind of always wanted to paint, but because I felt like I couldn't draw, couldn't do sketch work, I never did. And thus, I'm actually painting. I'm working on a background for a painting. This is the land, and that's the sky, and that's what I'm doing right now. There'll be a tree probably here, and then another branch coming down here. So it'll be like that, and then there's going to be a bit more layers for clouds, and that's what I'm doing. It should be beautiful, providing I don't F it up. But this is a practice painting. I have other canvases that are in process, and we will be doing for the next 6 weeks. I'm going to be doing quite a few paintings on this channel. It'll be. I can't quite do a. Well, if you go into my live stream list last year, I had a paper mache project that I got 10,000 views on. So yeah, 10,000 views was the most amount of views. And then last year, when I was doing a lot of paper mache and some other things, I was getting more stuff, more views. But these days, because I changed the content of my channel, and I'm heading into doing more talk, and maybe eventually I'm going to do a call-in talk show. When I changed the content of my channel, oh, it's 11,000. Yeah. Well, it could be this piece here could, because of the number of people watching in right now, if this thing live stream, if I went on for like 2 hours on this thing, it would probably have close to 1,000 views on it. I'm thinking just by virtue, because probably the average person is watching for like a minute and 21 seconds or something like that. I think that's probably what my average view duration is right now. It might be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, not sure. Okay, I got this a little bit lighter this way, and now let's see how this is. It's still pretty wet, so I might be able to come up here and do another layer without, let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit too wet. So I think I'll just, if I turn the camera around, I'm going to lose all my viewers, aren't I? All right. Let's see what we can do here. It's getting dark here anyways. I'm going to do another live stream later tonight on my other channel, but that's something you probably wouldn't be interested in, so I'm not going to advertise too much about what that is. So we're going to come in here and we're going to just do some layers. We're going to push the color in. And Actually, what we're trying to do here is add depth. Add depth. That's what we're trying to do. So now I got 2 people watching it. Oh, that's all right. So we're adding that in here. Just kind of pushing the color in. I hope I don't ruin things here. But that means I'm just going to be doing another layer out there if I feel like I ruin my skyline. That there. Just put this blue in here. All right. Thank you, baby Saja. Elf on the Shelf. Bob Ross. Bob effing Ross, yeah. Well, I don't think I'm Bob Ross. Only Bob Ross can be Bob Ross. But we're just kind of putting some happy little clouds in place here. I think that'll look good. Let's go get some more of that other color here. Kind of looks like there's some faraway mountains in the mist. It goes. I like that. Okay, you're back. Good. Good. Welcome back. I'm almost done for the night. It's getting dark out. I was going to actually just come out here and turn the camera on while I was pitting cherries. But I'm thinking, well, would somebody really... I used to do ASMR content. And I said, well, would that be something people would like to do? Like to watch? I don't know, maybe. I mean, people like paper mache. They don't like talk very well, but that's all right. Let's just put this pinky colors up on the top. I really don't want to... When you mix that fluorescent red with the blue, it makes a really nice lavender color. A little more water on that. A little bit water. Work to blend those tones in. Paint the side a bit. A little bit more of this up here. I don't think I can use all that paint up. It's unfortunate. We'll just put it on the edge. It's getting cold outside. Feels like I've gone camping or something. It's been way too many years since I last went camping. All right. Good name. Your arm has cramps. I'm going to put some of this color in here. And come back over it with some titanium white on another day. And what it looks like is, what it will look like when I'm all done is it will look like faraway mountains by doing this, but it will also look like it could just be a bank of clouds. And that's what I really like about this technique. And we'll put some of this in over here. I don't need that big clump of paint. No, let's get that clump of paint off of there. Clean up as much of the paint on my palette as I can. What was that noise? A cow? Cows aren't out. I thought I heard cows earlier. Kind of a bit in here. Help to add the depth to it. Oh, my age, Anna? I was born in the 1960s, in the late 60s, and you can do the math. I've been around a while. Just gonna put this up here. It'll be cool. It'll be all right. We'll put those more layers of white down on it. It'll be back there in the background, so you can look in and you can see all the way back to the underpainting on here. Put this over here. And yeah. And then that final layer, it would just be titanium white. Oh, you weren't asking me how old I was. I see, I gotcha. I'll turn the camera around because I'm done here for the most part. I'm an old man. I don't play many games. I do play games, actually. Boring games. It's 9:30 where I'm at. I have another task to do before I do my next thing. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and for all the new people who pushed the like button. We play. What's we play? Because usually young people, I don't know nothing about what young people do anymore. Well, anyways, I wanted to thank everybody for coming into the chat and watching me paint for half an hour. I'm going to be back tomorrow evening, probably earlier or later, I don't know. I might do, see, I got work on Saturday morning all day. I'm doing an interview Saturday night on this channel, so it should be probably very boring for you guys. But I'll do some more painting tomorrow. Yeah, I'll probably try to do a long painting session tomorrow if I can. And yeah, anyways, that's all I got. I painted as much as I can on that thing, simply because it's too wet. The paint is too wet. It's got to dry. You can only do so many layers before what you get turns to mud when you're dealing with our acrylics, especially heavy body acrylics. It's the same with light body. What makes a painting look fantastic is to use multiple layers of transparent and semi-transparent paint, and you start with a non-white background. Oh, your mama, your grandma rules me. Yeah, I take care of my mother, she's almost 90 years old. And anyways, thank you everybody for hanging out. I am in the Oregon Coast Range. I am in the Oregon Coastal Mountains. That's where I'm at. And so yeah, I'm about 50 miles west of the Cascade Mountains. Maybe a little bit further. I think a little bit further. I think it might be 70 miles west. I don't know, something like that. I'm not very far from the ocean. I'm easy. Well, on foot, it would take you like 4 days on foot, maybe 5 days to walk from where I'm at to go to the ocean. On the road surface, depending on how many miles you walk in a day. If you can walk if you can walk a lot of miles in a day, you could probably get there in 2 days of walking. But if you're carrying a pack, it could be anywhere between like 3 and 4 or 5 days on foot. And if it was over land and not on a road, it would probably be way, way longer. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support for tonight and for entertaining yourself in the chat. It was nice to meet you all. And I'll be back tomorrow earlier than dark for another coat on this painting, and maybe work on one of the other newer ones I want to start on. But anyways, that's all I got. Bye-bye.